You wanna know something I love? Trains! You know what else I love? Christmas! With those two in mind, it's probably no surprise that Polar Express is my favorite Christmas movie. As much as I enjoy other Christmas media like Christmas Story, Arthur's Perfect Christmas, A Charlie Brown Christmas, Gundam 0080 and Endless Waltz, and the South Park Christmas episodes, Polar Express just can't be compared. I love the characters, the music, the animation, and bro, that ice drifting scene. I don't care how unrealistic this scene is, I will always get hyped watching it. Honestly though, I could say that about every scene where you get to see the Polar Express because as much as Thomas has influenced my love for trains, man I love this thing. But unfortunately, we're not talking about the movie. And if you read the title, you were probably like, wait, this movie had a game? And yeah, I actually used to have this game a while back. In fact, it's one of the first games we got on the PS2. I mean, I never beat the game as a kid, but yeah, I had it. Keep in mind, this was back when almost every single movie, cartoon, and whatever other licensed property was getting a video game. They may not be as common nowadays, but they were everywhere in the 80s to early 2000s, and you wouldn't know if they were good or bad unless you played them. And how is this game? Well, it's pretty bad. But seeing is believing, as the movie says, so let me show you. Anyway, the game has the same plot as the movie, but it tells a completely different story. But I'll get into that later because, funnily enough, that was one of the parts I disliked the most about this game. The music is fine, definitely fits a Christmas game like this. But it's definitely not the soundtrack of, say, Sonic Heroes or Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, which are games that have phenomenal soundtracks that I actually remember. Everything else, well, to start off, this game is just ugly. Polar Express may be creepy to some people. I personally never found it creepy at all, even as a kid, but I've never seen anyone say it's ugly. But here, compared to the movie, the graphics and character models just look so damn cheap. I don't know which character I would pick for the worst model because, honestly, they all look pretty shit. But at least the Know-It-All Kid still reeks of BuzzFeed IQ tests and overuse of the word quantum. As for the controls, well, to start off, you don't even get control of the camera. You have to press the R1 button to turn the camera the other way to see it behind you or in front of you. You move the Hero Boy, jump as well as double jump, and while it doesn't have the smoothest controls, I guess they could be worse. But they definitely aren't as smooth or responsive as an actually good platformer. Speaking of which, let's talk about the gameplay. The only thing you get that is close enough to combat is throwing shit at enemies, but you don't even get to do that for the whole game. The game is divided into segments of mini games, and there's like 4 segments where you get to throw stuff at enemies to defeat them with one hit, and also 2 sequences where you're kicking balls at puppets. One was just 2 puppets where you had to hit them and then close the lid with another ball, and another where you hit the Scrooge puppet 5 times. Yeah, this is peak combat on the PS2. Kingdom Hearts 2, Devil May Cry 3, God of War, God Hand, Gungrave. Nah, this is peak combat on the PS2. Combat is non-existent everywhere else. Like, look right here. I have to get across this room, but a bunch of toys are hopping around and I take damage if one of them just jumps at me, and I have no means of defending myself other than running and jumping my way around. But considering how the game's controls feel, I don't think I'd want to know what an actual combat system for this game would feel like. There's also not 1, but 2 rhythm segments, one with Steamer and Smokey, and the other with the Hot Chocolate guys, and they get repetitive really fast. There's a section where you get to ski down a hill with the hobo from the movie, and honestly, that might have been the most fun I had with this game. Especially when you get to see the model of the Polar Express used for this game. Also a tennis match against a tennis player toy, but sometimes you're not fast enough to even hit the ball back, and it doesn't even matter how well you position yourself. Most of the time, you'll never be able to get the ball to hit the toy parts. Oh yeah, this game has collectibles through toy parts to put a specific toy together. But I don't know what the reward for collecting them all is, and I don't care to find out. There's also a section in Chapter 5 where you control the brake coach of the Polar Express where the Hero Boy, Hero Girl, and Billy were in near the end of the movie. Yeah, I definitely remember them having full control of it and steering and braking the thing while avoiding elf vehicles. This section frustrated the hell out of me, unlike a good chunk of the others, which bored me to tears. You have to push crates to make a path for the Hero Girl to slide on the ice, and if there's nothing behind her, she can't slide. And guess what? They don't even have a tutorial or anything to tell you how to get through this section! But none of those segments hold a candle to this. So this is a section where the Hero Boy is trying to catch up to the conductor and Hero Girl on top of the train to give her back her ticket like in the movie. So you avoid obstacles, but sometimes the obstacles hit you even when you're crouching, and you don't even catch up to the conductor and the girl, and only ends when you get far enough to meet the hobo! What were they thinking? So yeah, it's mostly just a collection of mini games that get old really fast. There are some I didn't talk about, like this part where you're helping a kid who is afraid of the dark find his ticket, and a stealth section avoiding a cook. There. And also 2 sections where you're trying to catch toy mice, and the awful last 2 sections in Chapter 5, but they're honestly not worth talking about. But let's actually talk about this game's story. I don't know what I expected, but this game is completely inaccurate to the story of the film. I can't recall at any point where anyone else is out of character, but Hero Boy in particular is heavily out of character in this game. The game just throws his arc from the film out the window and makes him a generic nice kid character.
You're just a bitter old toy. Christmas isn't about toys. It's about giving and sharing.
I'd probably say more, but I don't want to go on a tangent. I just found this pretty off-putting. But the game did come out a few days before the film came out in theaters, but I would assume the team got to watch the movie while making the game. Hell, they even used some scenes from the movie for a few cutscenes. Another issue I have with the story is, remember the Scrooge puppet from the movie that appeared in one scene and was being controlled by the hobo? Well, he's the villain up until you get to the North Pole. So does that mean the hobo is a real villain? Has he been controlling the puppets in this game and he's been doing all of this just to dick with the Hero Boy?
Wow, what an asshole.
Also, the climax of this plotline is this boss fight with him where you throw snowballs and also throw at his heart, which should have been used for the final section since by the time I got to this point, I already checked out of this game. Honestly though, what did I expect? I mean, I already knew there was going to be a low level of quality since like a lot of other licensed games from the 2000s, this is a shameless cash grab to profit on the movie of the same name. The graphics are terrible and make the characters from the movie look like ass, and the gameplay is boring at best and frustrating at worst. I fucking hate this game. I wish I was watching the movie now. I do not drink, but I kinda wish I did now, 'cause I need something to numb the pain. And you can beat this game in under 2 hours, so you may as well just watch the movie anyway. Honestly, the only value this game could have is if there's an Angry Video Game Nerd Christmas episode, and this is one of the games the nerd reviews. It's a case like a lot of licensed games from the PS2 era. Just bargain bin trash for a relative to be like, oh, Timmy likes this movie, I'll get him this game, giving a child a subpar game with little value in the process. And there's something kinda scummy about that. Kids should be playing good games, because the media a child consumes shapes their brains, and they deserve good stuff that they can enjoy before they grow up. And I certainly can't recall any good memories I have with this game as a kid. Sure, I remember playing it when I was a kid, but those aren't really memories I think about fondly. Nor do I think about those memories with hatred. Just pure apathy. But these kind of games are all but dead now, and while Thanksgiving might have passed, I can definitely be thankful that these types of games aren't as prevalent in the industry. So, I don't have a good closing statement for this, so Merry Christmas, ho ho ho, I'm gonna go play some Cyberpunk. Hey guys, Jade here, and considering this is most likely going to be my last video of the year, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who decided to subscribe to me. This video was definitely something new for me, and I hope you guys liked it. I'm not too confident about it compared to my other videos, but yeah. Honestly, maybe I'll revisit this game in the future when I have more experience with editing, I don't know. But anyway, this year has been very mentally draining for me, and it's gotten even worse since I need to get a new car now. So yeah, that's fun. And I feel guilty doing this, but I made a new Ko-Fi account and I really don't want to ask for donations. I really don't. But considering my current situation, like anything would help. But yeah, I am extremely grateful for the support I've gotten so far. I got past 80 subs, and that's really cool. I know that's probably nothing to sneeze at, but considering I just started this year, I'm pretty stoked about that. I'll be taking the rest of the month off from YouTube, apart from streaming. I really want to continue my Dark Souls playthrough, so Merry Christmas, and even if you don't celebrate the holiday, I wish you nothing but the best regardless.